We need to talk about what just went down because Buffalo Bills head coach Sean McDermott just shook the whole NFL with a few calm-looking words at what was supposed to be a routine press conference before the matchup with the Cleveland Browns. What sounded normal at first glance hit way different once people really listened, and now everyone is paying attention. When you read between the lines and factor in everything swirling around Cleveland lately, McDermott's comments carry serious weight. On the surface, it sounded basic. He was asked what he's seen from Shedeur Sanders this season, and his response felt polite and standard at first. He said, "Good player, good young player. Off to a great start, dangerous with the tool set that he brings to the table, and he's done a great job. I think their offense has actually ratcheted up since he's been under center, so that'll be a big challenge for us." He doubled down on it too, calling him a good player with a dangerous tool set and saying the offense has improved since he stepped in. At face value, that sounds like normal coach talk, just showing respect before a game. But this goes way deeper than surface-level praise, because what McDermott did, whether he meant to or not, was back up everything Browns fans, local media, and even players like Myles Garrett and Joel Bitonio have been saying about Shedeur Sanders all along. The message was clear. He's playing well, he's delivering results, and the offense looks better with him leading it. And once you connect those dots, it quietly raises questions about why Kevin Stefanski has made choices that seem to stall that momentum instead of building on it. Now look at the timing, because that's where this really gets spicy. These comments came just days after the Tennessee Titans mess, just days after Shedeur was pulled during critical moments, just days after reports surfaced about internal meetings regarding Stefanski's future, and just days after Coach Prime was rumored to have serious concerns about how his son was being handled. McDermott isn't clueless to any of this. He studies film, tracks trends, follows league news, and understands the pressure cooker in Cleveland right now. So when a respected veteran coach goes out of his way to praise a young quarterback and specifically points out that the offense has stepped up under him, that's not random chatter. That's a loud, calculated signal to the league about how McDermott views Shedeur Sanders, and indirectly, how he views the decisions being made around him. Those words weren't empty compliments. They landed like a quiet but sharp spotlight on the situation, and people across the NFL definitely caught it. First off, McDermott straight up called Shedeur dangerous with the tool set that he brings to the table. Dangerous? That's not a throwaway word, and it's definitely not empty coach talk. When a head coach says that, it means he's watched the film, broken down the tape, and decided this rookie can seriously hurt you if you slip up. That word covers a lot. Arm strength, smart decision-making, movement in the pocket, football IQ, and the confidence to make plays when it matters. Those are real NFL traits, not hype. And here's where things get wild. Because if Sean McDermott, one of the most respected defensive-minded coaches in the league, is warning his defense about Shedeur Sanders, then why is Kevin Stefanski benching that same quarterback during the biggest moments of games? Why is Stefanski pulling Shedeur off the field for Wildcat plays while McDermott is telling his defense to be on high alert whenever Shedeur has the ball in his hands? That disconnect is loud. McDermott sees what fans, analysts, and players see, yet Stefanski keeps acting like the talent isn't obvious. McDermott made it even clearer when he said, "I think their offense has actually ratcheted up since he's been under center." Ratcheted up. That means noticeably better, more dangerous, more effective. He's publicly saying the Browns' offense improved once Shedeur took control. And think about what that really implies. It suggests whatever Cleveland was doing before wasn't hitting the same. It suggests Shedeur elevated the players around him. It suggests opposing coaches can clearly see a sharper, more aggressive offense when he's running the show. And if the offense is better with him in the game, pulling him during critical moments makes zero sense. That's the quiet but brutal critique hiding in McDermott's words. He's not directly calling Stefanski out, but by praising Shedeur's impact and stressing how dangerous he is, McDermott is exposing how strange it looks to sideline him for gimmick plays when the game is on the line. Then there's the third piece that really seals it. McDermott framed all of this as a serious defensive concern, saying, "That'll be a big challenge for us." He's telling his players, his staff, and the media that Shedeur Sanders is someone you game plan for. Someone who can punish mistakes if you're not locked in. This is a veteran coach with one of the league's toughest defenses, a guy who's faced elite quarterbacks year after year, saying, "Shedeur represents a real challenge." That's not casual praise, that's respect. And when you stack that respect next to how Shedeur has been handled in Cleveland, the contrast is impossible to ignore. And this wasn't the only moment from that press conference that stood out. The tone, the confidence, and the way McDermott talked about player growth and preparation revealed a lot about his coaching mindset. When you compare that approach to what's happening in Cleveland, the difference couldn't be more obvious. Throughout the press conference, McDermott kept hammering one theme over and over: veteran leadership, real player development, and putting guys in positions where they can actually succeed. When he was asked about the young players on his roster, he broke it down clearly and said, "You've got a group of big-time experienced veterans, and you got a group of young guys who are just learning what the NFL is about, right?" He went on to explain, first-year players in particular. So it's good to have some of these guys who can teach by example, number one, and then also get shoulder to shoulder with some of these young players to impart some of the wisdom that they've learned over the years just around the NFL and our system. Teaching by example, standing shoulder to shoulder, passing down wisdom. That's what real development looks like in the league. That's what a strong locker room looks like. Veterans lifting young players up, coaches creating space for growth, and rookies learning without fear of being undercut. That's a healthy football culture. Plain and simple. Now compare that to what's happening in Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders is a rookie quarterback who, according to players like Joel Bitonio, has never complained, takes hits without hesitation, and carries himself with maturity beyond his years. He shows up, keeps it professional, and handles pressure like a grown man. But instead of backing him, instead of teaching and supporting him, Kevin Stefanski gives him incorrect plays on his wristband, pulls him during the biggest moments, and dodges accountability when things fall apart. That's not development. That's setting a player up to struggle. McDermott also spent time talking about Josh Allen and how he's handled the weight of being a franchise quarterback. He said, "He's a real human, right?" And I say that because of some of the things he does. Number one, that are up here mentally. And then just overall, the human side to Josh Allen is what endears him to this community and to people around the world, right? He added, "Because he's real." And I think that's refreshing in the day and age of role models in the sports industry. A real human. Authentic, grounded, real. McDermott wasn't just praising stats. He was praising character and honesty in a league that often pressures players to fake perfection. And here's the wild part. By every public account, Shedeur Sanders shows those same qualities. He's professional, authentic, calm under fire, and never throws teammates or coaches under the bus. In Joel Bitonio's words, he's someone who never complains and just keeps his head down trying to make the next play. So if McDermott can recognize and celebrate those traits in his quarterback, if he can build an environment where Josh Allen feels supported and empowered, why can't Kevin Stefanski do the same for Shedeur Sanders? Why tear a young quarterback down instead of building him up? McDermott also stressed the importance of in-game adjustments and coaching flexibility. When asked about the Bills' ability to adjust, he said, "It's one thing to have a game plan, but it's another thing to have a staff that is able to adjust in the midst of a game, whether it is at halftime or second quarter, what have you." He followed that up with, "That's critical." And again, but it takes two, right? It takes the staff to be able to know how to do that, but also then the players have to execute that. Adjusting on the fly, reading the moment, responding to what's actually happening on the field. That's what smart coaching looks like, and it stands in total contrast to what Stefanski admitted after the Titans game, when he said the Wildcat calls were pre-planned before kickoff, no matter how Shedeur was playing, no matter the flow of the game, and no matter what the situation demanded. McDermott clearly understands that real coaching demands flexibility, quick adjustment, and sharp decision-making based on what's actually unfolding on the field. Stefanski, on the other hand, sticks to a pre-written script, even when the game is screaming for change right in front of him. During the press conference, McDermott also showed what real accountability looks like when talking about his defense struggling at times. When asked about giving up 31 or more points in multiple games, he didn't dodge it, didn't sugarcoat it, and didn't toss out empty lines. He said, "We're working to find the right combination of guys out there. We've hit some bumps in the road with just some of the guys being in and out of the lineup through the course of the season. Straight to the point, honest and direct." Then he added, "The coaching staff has done a phenomenal job of managing that, and players have stepped up to the challenge. Notice the difference here. He admits the issue, credits his staff for navigating tough situations, praises the players for responding, and focuses on fixing the problem. That's accountability done right. It's an honest evaluation paired with a clear plan to improve. Compare that to Stefanski after the Titans' loss, where he kept repeating, 'It's on me. I'm responsible for all of it,' without explaining what failed or what would change next. That's not transparency, that's a stall tactic. Saying the words without backing them up doesn't solve anything, and players notice that." Then McDermott was asked about Myles Garrett, and his response matters even more given what's been happening in Cleveland lately. He said, "Yeah, special player. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's on the verge of whatever he needs to break the record. He kept going, saying, "That's a Hallmark-type season, right?" You turn the tape on, you're watching crossover games, and Cleveland shows up. Their defense overall, they play hard. They're talented up front. They're talented in the back end, particularly with the corner position. And then you watch him and you're going, "That's special. That's serious respect." McDermott wasn't just handing out compliments. He was recognizing historic production, elite talent, and a rare level of dominance. When a coach like that calls someone a Hall of Famer, it carries weight across the league. And here's why that matters so much. Just days earlier, Myles Garrett subtly but clearly questioned his own head coach's decisions in a post-game setting, especially the choice to pull Shedeur Sanders during crucial moments. When the best defensive player in football, someone McDermott openly calls a Hall of Famer, is side-eyeing his own coach's calls, that says plenty. When opposing coaches praise your rookie quarterback and label him dangerous, that says plenty. And when veteran linemen like Joel Bitonio say your quarterback never complains and deserves better support, that message is loud and clear. That tells you everything you need to know. All these voices, all these angles, all these first-hand observations are lining up the same way. Shedeur Sanders is a legit talent, and what he's getting from Kevin Stefanski hasn't matched his level of play or effort. McDermott even broke down how you prepare for a special player like Myles Garrett, and his answer says a lot about how he views elite talent. He said, "It's tough. I mean, there's only so many things you can do, right? You watch people who try and chip Myles, and you can chip him. You can almost put sometimes 3 people I see on him, and he just runs through it all." He kept going, saying Garrett is powerful, big, explosive, fast, has a feel for the game. That's McDermott admitting some players are so different, so dominant, that your entire game plan has to bend around them. That's real coaching. You recognize special talent, respect it, and adjust everything to maximize or survive it. Now here's the obvious question. If McDermott understands that concept when it comes to Myles Garrett, if he's willing to rework an entire strategy for one defensive monster, why can't Kevin Stefanski apply that same logic to Shedeur Sanders? Why not build the offense around what Shedeur does best instead of pulling him out at the worst possible moments? Why not lean into his strengths instead of clipping his wings? The answer is starting to look real clear. It's not that Stefanski doesn't know basic coaching principles, it's that when it comes to his rookie quarterback, he refuses to fully commit to them. Whether it's pride, stubbornness, or fear of changing course, the result is the same. And that's why McDermott's comments hit so hard. Without calling anyone out by name, McDermott showed the entire league what quality coaching looks like, developing players the right way, adjusting in real time, owning mistakes with honesty, respecting talent on both sides of the ball, and most importantly, putting players in positions to succeed. Every one of those values stands in direct contrast to how Kevin Stefanski has handled Shedeur Sanders and the Browns situation overall. The difference in philosophy couldn't be louder. So here's the real question. When Sean McDermott says the Browns offense has ratcheted up since Shedeur took over, is that a quiet but pointed critique of Stefanski benching him during crunch time? When McDermott calls Shedeur dangerous with the tool set that he brings to the table and says he'll be a big challenge, does that back up what Myles Garrett, Joel Bitonio, and Browns fans have been saying all along? That Shedeur is talented enough to succeed if his coaching staff actually supports him the right way? And when you stack McDermott's approach to leadership, accountability, and flexibility next to Stefanski's rigid, excuse-heavy decision-making, doesn't it explain why one team is thriving while the other keeps spiraling? Say what you think, because this goes way beyond one press conference. This is about 2 totally different coaching mindsets and 2 completely different locker room cultures, and the contrast is impossible to ignore. When the Bills and Browns square off this weekend, it won't just be another game. It'll be a live example of what happens when a coach empowers his players versus when a coach holds them back.